Hello and welcome to r/Idontworkherelady. Our first post comes from user FDBW03. So over the last week, my husband and I have both had to deal with some obnoxious Karens. My husband's experience happened first over the weekend. My husband works for a contractor's company and was working at a local large hospital for some renovation and upgrades. He was in the cafeteria waiting for two other guys so they could get to work and was very clearly wearing his company shirt that in large white letters says the company's name and wearing a badge with his face and company name and had tools on a tool belt. Husband is DH, Karen is K. I wasn't there, so this is how my husband told me it happened, which was backed by his two co-workers who came in when it got good. Excuse me, I want someone to go get me food from place famous for chicken only. DH. Sorry, I don't think they have that here. He goes back to playing a game on his phone or something. All he remembers is that he went back to his phone. So, aren't you going to go get it? DH. No, I'm waiting for my guys to start work. K shoves her leg into my husband's face. K. I'm a patient here, and you have to take care of me. I want food from that place, and find someone competent enough to know to put the band on my wrist, not my leg. DH. I don't work for the hospital. The registration desk is down the hall. Maybe they can help. My guys are here, so I'm going to start work. Have a nice day. She then grabbed his arm, and in full view of co-workers that had just come up. K. I know you work here. Now go get me food. DH. Ma'am, I don't work here. Please let go of me. My husband is careful not to jerk away in case she falls, since it's a hospital. He made sure she was already steady and pulled his arm away and started walking towards the elevators. K. Get back here and get me whoever is in charge of you to have you fired. DH. I'm in charge of my guys today, and we are leaving. It wasn't that exciting and he didn't see her for the rest of the day, but he got hell from his co-workers about it. Now my experience, which was yesterday. I work in an office building which shares about 20 separate offices with other companies. I have one down at the end of the hall on the second floor by a door that's always locked. My co-worker's office is down the hall, so my door is normally open for people coming to get checks or drop off contracts and checks. Further down the hall are a few other occupied offices, one of which is a place that orders COVID tests and other lab tests to be sent to an independent lab. Earlier yesterday, I heard the owner of that office on the phone with someone yelling to calm down and be respectful or he wouldn't help her. I ignored most of it because it's not my business. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon and someone opened the door on the opposite end from me and started stomping down the hall. There are clear signs on the floor and even arrows to point you to the specific office you need, and elevator has office numbers. Mine is 12 and the other is 16 for instance. Stomping continues and some lady wearing no mask, coughing up a storm, barrels into my office, slamming the door back into the wall. I had it slightly closed. I'll be M for me, and owner will be O, and lady will be B for, you know, B.
I have never been spoken to so rudely in my life. How dare you speak to me like that way earlier?
Keep in mind the person she spoke to earlier was a guy with a deep voice in his 60s, and I'm in my 20s and obviously pregnant. M. Excuse me, ma'am? I'm going to need you to step out of my office and put on a mask and speak calmly, or I will not help you. B.
How dare you? I have respiratory issues and I don't have to wear a mask.
M. That is fine and good and all, but in my office you have to wear a mask, and for me and my child's protection, or I will not help you. Either put on the mask and leave. I had no idea who she was yet and thought someone was mad at my company. B starts to come around my desk to come even closer to me, and I grabbed hand sanitizer, the closest thing. M. If you come any closer, I will call the police and I will defend myself. Back up and put on a mask. B grumbles, but takes steps back until she's in the doorway. B.
You sent me to a place for COVID testing. I had a bunch of people in the waiting room, and now I'm testing positive because you sent me there. What are you going to do for me? I demand a refund, and for you to comp my next tests and visits. Okay, not my company, so I tell her, but who the F comes into an office with no mask after testing positive? I'm in quarantine until I can get a test done. M. You're in the wrong office. It is down the hall in suite 16. I don't work. B. Yes, you do. I talked to you earlier, B.
M. No, you didn't, and I don't work for them. I work for XYZ Carpenter office. Get out before I call the police. B.
I will tell them you caused me to get COVID and have you arrested for endangerment.
At that point, the owner of my company came back and came in to hear what the commotion was all about. She came up and heard the police bit and decided to step in. Oh. Excuse me, why are you harassing my employee? B.
She yelled at me over the phone and she made me get COVID.
Oh. You're COVID positive and not wearing a mask to spread it to my employee and this entire building? You need to leave now or I will be calling the police. B.
You in there.
Oh. Go ahead and call. I'll stay right here until they get here. I started typing in the number into my phone and the lady ran down the hall and out the door. Told the other office about it and they had all the information and will take care of it with a report. But seriously, now I'm in quarantine and so is my boss and I'm just hoping I don't have it. Our next story comes from user Anamaski. This happened yesterday at a Starbucks somewhere in the US. Obligatory, I'm on mobile. I'm a medical professional. I've been dealing with people who think COVID is a hoax or not serious, etc. Please don't debate that here. The post is not about that. K. Karen. Me. B. Barista. I walk into a Starbucks and I distance myself in the little circles they have 6 feet away from each other. There are just a few people in the store and it's pretty big overall, so I felt safe. I'm minding my business browsing Reddit when this Karen walks in. I didn't notice her until I heard a barista say, "Excuse me, you need to wear a mask to be inside the store." I turned to witness a look of horror on this woman's face, as if she didn't see the countless signs stating you need to wear a mask. Or she didn't realise there was a pandemic. K. All I want is a coffee. B. I'll be happy to make you one when you put a mask on. K. But. Me. Nope. K. What? Me. Nope. These workers don't get paid enough to make coffee and babysit children. K. Excuse me. Nope. K. Me. Out. She goes to speak again. Nope. Out. It felt like I was talking to a misbehaving puppy, and she looked just as sad, so she turned to the only line of defense she had left. K.
I'll get you fired.
Me. I don't work here. K.
I'll find your boss.
Me. I am my boss. She short circuits, makes that weird grunting angry sound, and leaves. I can't stand when these anti-maskers involve people who aren't paid to deal with their crap, and even people who are, not paid enough. Too long didn't read. Maskless Karen wants coffee, and I defended the baristas. Our next post is from Silly Scully. This happened years ago, when my wife and I lived in a mostly African-American neighborhood in Detroit. I'm white and my wife black, totally irrelevant to the story. I worked for the city government as an office manager, and wore a white shirt and tie every day. I also usually hold a pen or two sticking out from my pocket, so if I stopped at a small local food store after work, I naturally was often mistaken for an employee. A fellow shopper would ask where an item was and I'd reply with a polite, "I don't work here." But, knowing the store layout, direct the person to the needed product. Almost every time the other shopper apologised and I would smile and say no problem, fully understanding their assumption. Almost every time. Then I met Karen. I was shopping after work one evening, crouched down to read labels on items on a bottom shelf, when I felt someone grab my upper arm. I looked up to see her. The rare, urban Karen. This Karen was a middle-aged black woman with sunglasses propped on her head, and a rather nice-looking outfit that hinted a little bit at middle-class status. Still holding my arm, Karen demands, "Do you speak English?" I'm stunned and confused. I look up at my attacker and instinctively answer, "Yes." Then I assume that this Karen not only thinks I'm an employee, but also Chaldean Arab, as are the store's owners. By the way, I was friends with the owners and their family, and knew all of them spoke perfect English, with only a Midwest American accent like mine. Well, I'm surprised that any of you, insert slur for Middle Eastern person here, can understand English. Karen hisses. I stand, and Karen lets go of my arm. Where's the whatever product she wanted? Without hesitation, I tell this bigoted Karen, it's in the centre of aisle 10. Without a thank you or any other word, Karen looks up at the aisle 2 sign overhead and turns on her heels in search of aisle 10 in a store that only has 8 aisles. I head for the checkout, and as I'm paying for my purchases, hear a very loud, "Where the hell is aisle 10?" from the far end of the store. I was sorry to stick the friends, the owners of the store, with the unhappy task of dealing with Karen after I left, but we had a good laugh about it the next time I went shopping there. Sorry, not much drama, but I liked it. And that was r/Idontworkherelady. Make sure to leave a like on this video if you liked it and subscribe for more daily Reddit content.